Hey guys, and down here, this is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins, 298, Mael versus Zell. Now this chapter, although good, was pretty predictable and pretty much did what it said it was going to do on the can, on the tin, on the whatever. And I would split this up by scene, but it was really one large scene rather than a few different scenes involving like different parties coming together. So this was one large scene essentially. So I'm going to split it up by the parts of the chapter which I felt were important, and no doubt I'll have missed something, so do let me know in the comments about something that I may have missed or something else that you guys feel was important that I just simply didn't include. So the first part of the chapter, which I thought was really important just in terms of a character being developed, was Mael's explanation of his presence. So Mael explains his presence, and I felt like this was quite an important part of the chapter, with Mael telling Zeldris he wanted no part in this fight. However, he also makes it plainly obvious that he will have to fight if Zeldris interferes in their efforts to stop Meliodas from becoming the Demon King. And I like this because it shows once again that this version of Mael is not the same Mael from 3,000 years prior, and he's going to consider his actions and have a reason for inflicting pain even on his like worst enemies, his lifelong natural enemies. He's gonna consider whether it's worth inflicting pain on them or not, or whether he should inflict pain on them or not, and what his motivations are behind this. Are they pure? Are they for the greater good? Are they for a good cause, or is it just kind of blind following once again? So I love the fact that Mael felt the need to do something like this, because he may be the angel of death still, but he won't deal that shit unless he really has to. So I liked that. The next important part of the chapter was the original demon, and I feel like this was important within the chapter, with the original demon showing signs of his split personalities, namely Kusak's personality, which came to the fore. And the original demon shows concern originally that Mael and his company wanted to stop Meliodas from assuming the mantle of the Demon King, but then Kusak's consciousness agrees with Mael and obviously the Sins, and says that they cannot let Meliodas become the Demon King. And I was like, whoa, like, dude, what the hell's going on here? So I feel like this could play a very important part in the next few chapters, depending on whether the original demon can control his other personalities, or whether he's overtaken by one of them, namely Kusak, who can then pursue his own interests. So, I mean, like, the fact that he still has personalities of Kusak, and you'd assume Chandler within himself, suggests there might be some sort of like psychomacy, this internal warfare between his different personalities. Like, shit could get crazy for the original demon. I just don't know how it's going to turn out. And we already know that Kusak has done something shady when Chandler either went off to get Meliodas or went off to kill Elizabeth or something like that. He kind of said, I've got to do something, I'll be back, to Zeldris or something like that. So there's that thing that he's done, which I'm waiting for it to kind of surface to show exactly what he did, but we haven't seen it yet. But I wouldn't disregard him just yet. So be aware of that. I fully think, let me just turn my mic, I fully think that Kusak, his personality is going to affect the original demon in some way. This is kind of a nice segue to Mael's power, and I was both hyped and a little annoyed by Mael's power this chapter. Seeing sunshine in the hands of its original user and how much more powerful it's become has got me shitting bricks, because it's amplified with Mael. I mean, like, the fact that Escanor was insanely powerful, and now you have Mael, who is the guy the grace was not really designed for, but given to. Like, this was the guy who would hold the grace the best and would utilize it the best. But yeah, his ability to use it, insanely powerful. But at the same time, I just remember that this is the original demon we're talking about. Like, this dude is supposed to be powerful as fuck. He was supposed to have taken on the Demon King, although we don't actually know the details of the fight. Only the original demon lost. We don't know if, like, the Demon King body bagged him. We don't know if he actually put up a fight. But the Demon King did lend like half his power or something, or some of his power at least, to the original demon. So he should be stronger, and that's where my issue comes for Mael, who is not at high noon, to have body bagged the original demon this chapter with a beautiful attack, by the way. Amazing attack. The greatest son looked so good, but for him to do it so easily, I really feel like the power scaling in this manga could do with some strong revision. And I mean strong revision. Like, Miles should not really be able to body bag the original demon like that. It's not saying that the original demon is dead, because I believe he's far from dead. But for him to just go charging in, get absolutely clapped, and sent back down to Earth, it's just like, really? Like, what were you expecting? And the original demon is like, you're powerful, but don't be an idiot. Like, this is Mael we're talking about. He's not just some peon. But for him to have damaged the original demon with such a destructive move, it's like, the original demon's not quite living up to the hype at all. Like, at all. And let me know what you guys think. Actually, let me know what you guys think of the original demon in the comments, because there's bound to be split decisions, split kind of opinions on the original demon. But I think he's not done very well so far. So then we go to the bulk of the chapter, which was Mael versus Zeldris, and we see we get a start to the fight between the headliners, Zeldris keeping his eye on the prize. Really, the first thing he does is actually direct a creative darkness attack right towards Merlin. He kind of like slashes his sword, and this sword shape kind of Getsuga Tensho just pops up. And I thought this was really cool, how it essentially kind of crashed around Ruduciel's defenses and washed around it. Essentially, it was a very liquid kind of move. It just smashed into the defense and just washed around it. Really cool. And then like the darkness grew faces and stuff like that, almost like it was sentient. And I also thought it was pretty cool how the Sins protected Merlin here. Even Escanor standing in his puny form in front of Merlin. But then you have Elizabeth standing in front of him. Like, yeah, he's probably not going to block too much. I mean, like, it's not too much of an effort for like the darkness to travel through like the 10 millimeters of bone that he is right now. So Merlin tells us that she has around 5 minutes left to freeze time within the cocoon, giving Mael his cue to open up a can of whoop-ass on Zeldris. And the fight starts off relatively evenly, to be fair, with Mael throwing Zeldris to the ground in kind of like this dragon throw kind of thing, only for Zeldris to activate his ominous nebula, pulling everyone towards him, even taking Mael by surprise. And Zeldris grins with overconfidence, the key word being overconfidence, as Mael is pulled towards him helplessly, and Ruduciel shits himself here, thinking that his younger brother is about to die part 2. But we then see, as Mael kind of reaches the closest distance he'll ever get to Zeldris with Ominous Nebula without being stabbed, as soon as he gets within like touching distance, Zeldris' sword turns to liquid. And I assume it's from the heat from Mael's sunshine, which melts it away. And people may have an issue with this. I didn't really see many people having an issue with this, but they may. So let me just answer it before it gets out of hand. This was possible. Mael's use of sunshine. It was possible because it was not a magical attack directed towards Zeldris in any way that it would inflict damage on him or anything like that. So his god ability wouldn't nullify it. It was just kind of like the latent heat from sunshine melted away the blade. But then I was also wondering, why didn't it kind of get rid of Zeldris' gauntlets, his clothes, and all that stuff? You know, if it was hard enough to melt his sword, surely it should have melted away his clothes and stuff like that. Unless, in that situation, it would have activated God, because it's kind of directed towards Zeldris if it's his clothes. But then surely his sword extends to that kind of my possession, so it shouldn't have affected the sword. Then we're getting a little deep. But let's just say the sword wasn't affected because it wasn't targeting Zeldris in and of himself. So they then resort to hand-to-hand combat, where Mael gets the better of Zeldris at the end of the first exchange, throwing an overhand right punch right to the face of Zeldris, like just absolutely decking him. Now, honestly, that was the end of the chapter, and I don't really see Zeldris winning this fight. This is a fight where I'm totally fine with Mael winning, because it makes sense when you're aware of who they are. Mael should be above and beyond Zeldris, I believe. Even though I love Zeldris to bits, and the only one who should be on par with Mael was like Meliodas from 3,000 years ago, and even he would have lost at high noon, supposedly. So unless the original demon pops up with some wacky shit, this should be Mael's victory all day. It should be a win for Mael all day, especially because all of the Sins, excluding Ban, who for some reason has gone missing again, he's going to come back at like a really pivotal time. Like Meliodas is going to come out and be on steads or some shit, because I think they will fail in their attempt to stop Meliodas becoming the Demon King. But Ban's going to come back and be like, yo, what's up? And he's going to like do some random shit, steal his power or some stuff and wreck Meliodas, making Ban the strongest or some shit like that. But Ban isn't there. The rest of the sins are there. Rudusiel is there. Elizabeth is there. Mael is there. Unless the original demon pulls out some crazy shit, Zeldris really has no chance. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in a bit.